guys, it's the Foreign Wrestler here with a tutorial video, a starter video for new players or players who played the game but didn't know what they were doing. This is just a little insight. Let's get started, right? So I want to start off with this screen. So when you start the game up, you go through the relevant screens to get to here to create a character. This is where you're gonna pick the base for your character. You're gonna have on the left hand side of the screen is your race, which is basically just the character model. Some of these character models are locked to the classes you're gonna be able to play, but largely it's it's just cosmetics. I mean, if you like this character the way he looks, then or the way she looks in this instance, that's the one you're gonna pick. That's the one I recommend picking. Or if there's a certain class you want to play, then I would look at picking a race that you can play within a class. So I mean, this is quite simple. It's quite self-explanatory. You can pick any one of these character models. Just for this video, I'm just gonna go with the one that we saw at the start, which is the Purpuri. And to navigate between the two, you just press R1 and L1, and you can see how the screens change. On the right hand side, when you press R1 like we have, you've got your different classes, and straight away I think you can tell if you look at the screen by the information is this is a Berserker. It's a burst DPS melee class with heavy armor. You can read through all that stuff yourself. The important thing here is that you want to look at how complex the class is to play and what you're doing with the class. So this class is not that complex. You can tank with it. It's high offense and a little bit of support. And if you go to the next one, you can see the next one's a little more complex to play. It's tanking and it's an offense class. When we say tanking and offense, and the next class I would probably want to show is this one here, healing. Healing, you gotta heal other players, including yourself. So if that's what you're willing to do, you're gonna have to do a lot of healing when you're in parties and teams. And if you're playing by yourself, you probably have to do a lot of healing because your DPS is not that good. If you look at your offense, it's not that good for this character, and it's even weaker for this one here. But it's a really good support character, right? But a lot of these characters, and I'll just quickly flick through them, and you can look at they've got high offense. These ones, and as you can see, these ones are grayed out because they're gender locked or race locked. So if you wanted to play, say, as this one here, this is the character model race that you're gonna have to play with. That's something you're gonna have to accept. If you don't want to play with this particular character model because you don't like the way it looks, then you can't play as that class. So for the purpose of this video, we're just gonna go with a simple, easy class, which is the Berserker. Once you picked all this stuff, you want to go through the next screen by pressing triangle. This is on PS4, so press triangle and you get to this part. This part, you're gonna want to just mess around, get your character. I normally just use a preset. I just pick one I like, so you can do all this stuff here. And guys, just play around with it, right? And then when you've done it, I'll show you the next part. So guys, after you've done all the customization and stuff, I've just picked the basic character here, but you can go through all this stuff. You want to type your name in by pressing square or the relevant button on the screen. Remember, when you do your name, do not put a space at the end of the name, right? Otherwise it won't accept it. That's something I made a mistake when I create new characters, and I haven't done this screen for a long time. I forget to do that. So remember, don't press the space in, take the space out, press the backspace, see if it lets you enter your name that way, and then press to complete, press triangle to complete, and then we'll lead you through the next screen. Alright guys, so after you've done all that, this is the screen you're going to come to. You can see I've got multiple characters here. I'm starting a new character there, and this is my level 1 Toki, I've called. That's the name I've given this character. To play the character, you're just going to press X, and it's going to zoom in on the character. And to start the character, you just press X again. It's going to show you this little option right here. Read through it. Here you can either go to the start zone where you start off at like level 1, or you can skip out the start zone which I recommend you do. But I mean, if you don't, you're not missing anything. If you do, you're not missing anything. I just skip it out because it's a little boring and it's a little bit tedious. I think the Start Zone treats you like a little bit of a child. So the way you do that is hold down the X, as it says on the screen right now. Hold it down and you'll be able to skip it out, and that's what I'm going to do. Alright guys, after you've skipped out the zone, this is where you end up. This is the view that you have. You use the right stick to move your camera around. You use your left stick to move the character around. I think that's quite self-explanatory. You don't need me to tell you that stuff really. Right, so the next part I want to explain is the main user interface, which is the screen you're seeing right now, the one that you're looking at. If I move to an area where you can see it better, like here, you can see that if you look in the top right hand corner of the screen, you got the mini map. On top, where the mini map is, along the top, it tells you which area you're in. So we're in Blood Run. We're in channel 3. I changed the channel just so the video would look better. Next to where you've got the top part of the screen, you've got that touchpad and the triangle. That is for effects. So normally I don't really check the effects out. I'll show you that right now what it looks like. But that's what it is. You don't really need to check these things out. I mean, if you really do, if you really want to, you can do. It's not a big deal. When you press the touchpad screen down, you get this menu right here, which is basically your shortcuts for your track, quest tracker, your world map, and your chat. If you look to the left of the screen, you've got your group menu. This is when you're in a party and you're basically trekking and questing with other users and other players. You got your your shortcuts for UI, and this is where you zoom in and out for your camera height. So if you want to be really far out, you just zoom it really far out. You want to be really close up, you can get really close up. It's kind of a cool tool if you want to take some screenshots and stuff, for your videos like I am. So I'm just going to zoom out about here. I'll explain a little bit more about this screen as we move along, because I'm going to show you how to use the world map and the quest tracker. That's the two things on this screen that are important to use. If we move down the screen, you can see under the mini map you have the quest tracker. So as I was saying, the quest tracker you can access by pressing the touchpad and the circle, and it looks a lot like this, or exactly like this. If you look at it, it's got those options. If you press X, you can check the quest, which this is what you get. It opens up a little story quest log, so you know that what things are coming up and where they are. If you got more than one quest, they'll be listed in this part. You press R1, you can go to a zone quest and daily quest. Now, as you can see, if you look down the left hand side of the quest log, there's a question mark that is orange, or some people might say it's red, but I think it's orange. That's a story quest. If I click to the zone quest, we haven't got any zone quest because we haven't started that yet, but they will be highlighted in yellow. So there'll be yellow question marks or yellow exclamation marks. And normally when you complete a quest, it'll go to like a little star, right? So there's a little star, and it'll be the same color as either quest you're doing. And the dailies, you don't really need to worry about them right now. It's just something for endgame. You'll figure that out if you get to endgame, you're gonna know how to do this stuff anyways, right? So I don't really want to get into that. If I press back, you come back to this screen. You can minimize this to declare your screen. You want to take it off completely, you just press the R3 and it will disappear from this screen. It will not disappear as a quest. You will still have the quest. You can still complete the quest. To basically discard the quest if you don't want to do it, you basically come here, and if you look along the bottom of the screen, you've got displays quest markers, you've got remove from quest tracker, that's the main screen, and you got decline the quest. If you click it, you will basically take the quest off for you doing it. But I don't recommend you do that with story quests. Maybe do that with zone quests, because some zone quests are a little time consuming, a little tedious, and a little bit boring at times, when they just want you to kill a bunch of stuff. If I move down on this page, this is your rewards. So this is what you're gonna get if you complete the quest. That's just a little information. I mean, some people will look at that and do quests based on that. For me personally, I just do the story quest regardless, and the zone quest I always look gold. If it gives me gold, I'm happy enough doing that. So that's that part of the screen. To be honest, there's nothing more to it. It's pretty simple. If you look along the bottom, you've got the chat in the left hand side corner. Again, you can open up the chat by pressing the touchpad and the X. I'm not really going to get into that too much because, you know, I don't really use the chat. Chat's just, you know, it's like any other chat really, you know. The next part of the screen I want to show you guys is probably one of the most important, or actually is the most important in terms of gameplay, is your shortcut tray and your health and mana bar. So you can see your health bar, it tells you what it is. It's red is health, mana is blue. Mana is what we use for skills in this game, right? So if I show you a basic skill, I'm gonna press triangle and you can see a little bit of the mana went down. If I press another skill, which is, I can't really see it right now, but if I press square, you see how the mana is going down, and I'm gonna let go of it. That's what mana is. Sometimes you will be able to generate your own mana, other times you may not, so you're gonna have to use a combo attack, which is pretty basic, you know. It's your basic attack. What I do normally when I start the game, I generally sort of reconfigure that to the way I want it. If you're a new player, I'd probably leave it default the way it is, with one or two changes that I'm going to recommend later on in the video. But other than that, I probably wouldn't mess around with it too much, because, you know, it's just about getting used to the buttons. As you play the game, you're going to realize you want certain skills on certain parts of the shortcut tray. Then I recommend you chop and change, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment or two. And that's basically the main UI screen. This is what you're looking at all the time. This is what you're using all the time. So guys, get familiar with it. Right, guys, so the next part I want to talk about is the world map, is the mapping system. So I'm right here, I press the touchpad button and it opens up basically the area map. This is the map that's in the top right hand corner. If I back out of it, that's the one you see. If you look at that map, you see there's a little torchlight effect. That's the way the camera's facing. So you could be facing the way I am, like that. So you could be walking that way. That's the way you're going. But you may be needing to go really just north, right? But right now I'm facing east. You can change that by, you know, moving east, or moving north rather. So the part of the gameplay that you get, you can move towards the camera like I am right now, but have the camera facing the other way, and then still be able to launch an attack behind you. All right, so by releasing the camera, that's something you'll be able to figure out when you're gaming. I mean, it's hard for me to explain that without showing you guys. I'll always show you guys what I mean as we move on, but I want to talk about the mapping system in this game. The maps are so important. The maps are part of strategy, and the game is hugely about strategy, from your battle style to how you move around the map, right? So right here you can see we're in a part of the map, and it doesn't let you move around anything, but you can see the different areas that we're in Blood Run. That's the one I told you about before. To open up the world map, what you gotta do is press square. So when you get to here, you're going to look at the top of the screen. It's going to tell you that you're in an area called Arcadia, or a county, or just a state, right? If that's the way you want to look at it, that's how I look at things. And I'm highlighting right now Oblivion Woods. So we're in Arcadia, Oblivion Woods. We're near this, what is it, marked in blue, which is the main. This is the main town, and the next main town is Lumbertown. As you see, the area changes, so you've got little points that this is snapping to. These yellow quests I was talking about, they're the ones that are zone quests. So in this zone right here, which is, I think it's Frey Forest, there's like a whole bunch of zone quests you can do. So you go and check those out on your own time. Guys, that will work for you. The next part of this video, the part of the video I want to talk about, is how you zoom out a little bit more. How do you know where Arcadia is in terms of the total TERA map? So you press L1, and that shows you as it say as it mentions at the top of the screen, the world. So this is the world. This is the TERA world. As you can see, there's different areas. If you're reading at someone thinking what the numbers mean, the numbers are the level the area is catered to. So Arcadia is for players who are level 10 to 25. That's what the level of monsters are going to be there. So if you're a level 40 and you're in this area looking to kill monsters, you're just really wasting your time, because you're not really going to get a whole bunch of XP. You're not going to get a whole bunch of drops, and you're just wasting your time, really. You probably want to be in an area that's more for you. So if you're level 40, you want to be in this area. That's 45 to 40. If you're level 30, you want to be in this area. That's level 27 to 38, right? That's the part of the strategy. When they give you quests, you have to read the text a little bit. You have to use your mapping skills a little bit. But it's quite easy once you start getting into the game. Once you start understanding what the game is, it's really easy. Another thing I want to talk about in terms of map, I know we missed out, is if you see these little marks here, right? And the cursor automatically wants to snap onto it. And the message at the top is that's Vanguard Outpost. This is where you will be teleporting to when you use the teleportation terminals that are in the towns. So the towns have teleportational terminals, so you don't have to run or use the mount that you're given in the game to complete the distances. You can just teleport there. You can use teleportation scrolls that allow you to get to the cities. So there's parts of the game that don't require you to follow these roads that are on here, where you can just teleport. But there's certain parts of the game you're gonna have to figure out for yourself. So if you're in this area right here, and the game's telling you to kill some monsters over here or over here, it's gonna be highlighted in blue. So that's another indicator for you. So that's where you want to go. So if you were in the main town and the monsters were up here somewhere, you're gonna have to use a teleportation terminal to get to this point, and then complete the distance on foot to this area, kill the monsters, go back to wherever the hell the quest wants you to complete the quest, and pick up your rewards. And that's basically it in terms of using the maps and navigating the map screen and navigating the world in general.